Hello everybody, welcome to Bend with Bree. Today we're going to be doing a requested video. I really appreciate the feedback. We're going to be doing a daily front splits stretch flow for beginners. So there'll be modifications provided throughout the flow. So we're going to start here. We started in a forward fold. Now we're going to come to a wide leg forward fold, hands on the ground. The modification here would be to put your hands on some blocks and you're going to bend your legs side to side. So the deeper you bend, the deeper the stretch will be. So you'll start with a slight bend and then bend deeper and deeper as you get more comfortable. You can eventually work yourself into a full ninja pose going side to side, if that's in your practice. Just moving side to side here. Now settle in on one side. You can either come fully down with no blocks or put your hands on the ground, lean forward slightly, lifting your hips off the floor a little bit. Modification I'm going to show you here is to put your block under your seat to lift your hips. It'll make it a little bit less intense here. Perfect, so now switch sides. So you have the three modifications. You can come all the way down, lean forward so your hips are off the floor a bit, or grab that same block, place it under your seat. Getting into the hips and inner thighs here. Now come back into that forward fold, just going side to side. Now you can hold. So the options here to put your hands on some blocks, to put your hands on the ground, or your elbows on the ground. Now go ahead and come to seated. Seated on your toes, you can place a block under your seat, hands above your head, taking a deep breath, just getting ready for some deep stretches. Now come to standing, kneeling. I'm going to bring one foot forward in a low lunge. So I'm going to show you a few options here. You can place your hand on your knee as I'm doing right now. Come back a little bit, come forward. The further back you are, the less intense it'll be. The further forward, the more intense it's going to be. You can place your hands on the ground. That's a second variation that you can try. Just letting your hips settle in. And the third is you can bring your hands by your side. But what I'm going to show here is you can bring some blocks under your hands to raise the floor a little bit to make this stretch less intense. Now what you're going to do is come back into a half split, half middle split. So you're going to bring your hips back. You can keep your hands on the floor, back straight, or if you're comfortable, start to walk forward just a little bit. What I want you to be thinking of is folding at your hips, not rounding your back. So it's better to be all the way standing up than it is to be bending forward with a rounded back. So now come forward and back between a low lunge and a half split. Back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. Hold it forward for a second. Now what we're going to do is place your hands in between your legs and you're going to push your knee out. So push your knee out with the closest hand, half split, low lunge, push your knee out. Half split, low lunge, push your knee out. Half split, low lunge, push your knee out. You don't have to push it out as far. That would be a modification here. Now keep your hands in the center, inside of your foot, and you're going to lift and lower the back knee. So lower, lift, 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 lower, lift. Now keep it lifted and just rock forward and back. So forward, back, 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 forward. Lower your back knee. Come back into Seated, you're going to grab both of your blocks, stack them on top of each other as I'm showing here. We're going to come into a 2-minute modified front split hold. So you're going to bring it so your hip is on the blocks. I'm going to go ahead and start the time here. And what you want to think is keeping your hips forward. So that's what I'm showing you with my hands, is I'm focusing on keeping both hips pointed forward on the mat. Try and point your toe if you can. So the more blocks you stack up, the easier it's going to be. So you can add another block if this is difficult, or you can remove one of the blocks so you're just on one of the blocks here. And this is a good way to progress. Now bring your fingertips to the floor and just rock side to side, no matter how many blocks you're using. You can bring your hands back a little bit into a really, really shallow back bend, just starting to get comfortable. And then you can fold forward just a little bit. Again, this is a flow where you're getting comfortable in these poses, so you don't want to go too deep, but just starting to get yourself comfortable. You can do a twist to one side, then the other. Just hold. Hold and breathe. This is probably going to feel very intense when you're new to the practice, so just breathe, breathe, breathe. You don't want it to be painful, but you do have to push yourself a little bit to progress, as with anything in life, right? Come back to seated, standing, kneeling. Now, and I got a little bit mixed up on how to do this, so excuse me if it takes me a second to get it. We're going to come into a half split swing. So what you're going to do is bring your foot forward, hands inside your legs, and swing the leg back. So foot forward, half split, hand inside the knee, swing your leg back. Forward, half split, hand inside, swing it back. So this is a modified version of the swim throughs that we do in the front splits in the full daily practice flow. So it's just a low lunge, half split, hands in the center, and then swing your leg back. Come back into a child's pose with your elbows bent. Just letting your body rest here, relax. Roll up. Standing, kneeling. And other side. So starting with the first variation with your hands on your knee. Then hands on the ground. Or some blocks. Then you can bring your hands to the center by your hips. You can bring them fingertips to the ground like I'm showing here, or you can also bring blocks underneath too to raise the floor. So I'm going to show that here. I've referenced it, but I'll show you what that looks like. So you see how that makes it slightly easier to reach the ground. So you bring your hands to the floor and come back into a half split. Again, you can just stay with your hands there back flat, or if you're feeling comfortable, you can start to bend forward. When you're bending forward, again, think of bending with the hips and not leading with your head. You want to lead with your belly button. You can grab your foot and bring it towards you to get deeper into the calf and ankles here. Then come back into the front and back stretch. You're going to go low lunge, half split, low lunge, half split, low lunge, half split. You can bring your hands on some blocks if that's better for you. Half split, low lunge, 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 half split, low lunge. Now push your knee out, half split, low lunge, 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 push your knee out. And bring your hands to the center. We're going to do a lizard, so you're going to keep your knee on the floor for a second, and then what we're going to do in just a moment is lift and lower the knee. So lift, lower, 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 lift, and forward and back. So back, forward, forward. This changes the angle of the stretch. Back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. Drop your knee. Swing your leg to the back, and we're going to do that front split modified hold for 2 minutes on the other side. So bring both of your blocks. I want everyone to do both at first, and then you can bring them down as you get comfortable. Under your hip, hips facing forward, hand on your thigh, and just hold. Point your toe if you can. Hold and breathe. Now, if you're comfortable, you can remove one of the blocks, making sure your hips are still centered. Hands on the floor and rock your hips side to side if it's in your practice. It's really important when you're stretching and trying to get more flexible to not strictly stick to passive stretching. Changing angles really helps get muscles that you can't get when you're stretching passively. So you can try that little back bend. You can try to bring your hands forward a little bit. Twist to one side. Twist to the other side. Now back to center and just hold. Again, pushing yourself, reminding yourself that you're strong and capable, but also that you have limits and to honor those. You don't want to push to the point of pain. So go ahead and bring your leg back. Put the block away. You don't need it right now. We're going to do those swim throughs, the modified version that I am struggling with. So you're going to come to a half split, swing your leg back, low lunge, 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 half split, swing your leg back. Come into a really wide leg forward fold. Child's pose here. Come up onto your hands, pushing your hips back. Now push just a little bit more and bring your knees out just a little further. Again, using your hands to deepen the stretch. Now you're going to do is swim one arm underneath, so you're coming into a gentle twist here. Then the other arm. Knees together. Come to seated and just give yourself a hug here. You know I love this stretch because my back gets tight. Then come into a butterfly. Twisting to one side. This should feel really, really good. This is one of my favorites when I have back pain. It also opens the hips. Twist to the other side. Other side. And roll yourself onto your back. Knees into your chest, just rocking side to side. Now we're going to grab our strap here. You can use a towel, a belt, whatever you have handy. You're going to wrap it around your foot, keeping the other foot planted on the ground, and you're going to bring your foot towards your face. What I want you to think here is keeping your leg straight. So I'd rather your leg be all the way up, straight, than bent towards your head. Start with good form and work your way to deeper flexibility with good form. So you can extend the bottom leg and then bring your head up to try to reach your leg. This will get deep into the hamstrings. Awesome. So plant that foot on the ground and switch sides, wrapping the strap around your foot or towel or belt. Bring that foot towards the face. Again, straight leg further up is better than a bent leg closer to you for this stretch. Now extend the bottom leg and raise your head to try to bring it towards your leg. Deep, deep hamstring stretch. You do not have to bring your leg that close. It does not have to come anywhere near your leg. Then you're going to come into a butterfly on the ground. Reverse butterfly. Bring your hands above your head and grab your elbows and just sink fully into the floor. It's really important to let your body rest and settle, neutralize some of that deep stretching. Really, really awesome job today. Bring your feet together, knees in, low back stretch, hands to your heart. expressing gratitude for all you did today, for sticking with it, even if it brought up some feelings. Awesome job. Let me know if you have any other requests, and please like and subscribe. Have a great day.